It's 2010 and an awkward young man named Mark Zuckerberg is the Times Person of the Year. His success will spark the startup unicorn rush, where every young entrepreneur's dream is to become a tech billionaire. For the next decade, money will flood into the tech world as investors line up to fund any charismatic leader pitching an industry-changing idea and promising to disrupt the world. And Adam Neumann knows exactly how this game works. Riding the wave of excitement coming from the post-2008 economic recovery and chasing the infinite amount of VC money, desperate to find the next Facebook, Neumann is pitching what sounds like the future of work, a co-working startup that would elevate the world's consciousness.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
His company is called WeWork, and contrary to what some might think, it's not just boring real estate, it's a fancy tech startup. Or at least, that's what Neumann wants his investors to think. WeWork's pitch is simple. Lease large office buildings, turn them into sleek co-working hubs, and sublease the space to small businesses, startups, and freelancers. The business model isn't revolutionary. On the contrary, it's a model as old as the oldest profession in history. You rent long-term, sublet short-term, and beg the price difference. But Neumann isn't selling office space, he's selling a vision. More importantly, he is selling office space with free beer on tap and kombucha stations. In Silicon Valley, that means you're not just a landlord, you're a founder disrupting the industry. To no one's surprise, the VCs eat up the whole story. From the outside, WeWork looks like a tech company. It uses sleek branding, high-end design, and has a charismatic, eccentric CEO who walks barefoot in WeWork offices and wears t-shirts with slogans like "Hustle Harder." But under the hood, this is a plain old traditional business with traditional costs. You lease buildings, you renovate them, and you fill them with startups. Then, you pray that enough of them stick around to cover your rent costs. There's no software platform, no intellectual property moat, and no network effect. Just desks, free beer and kombuchas. Still, the pitch works. Between 2010 and 2019, WeWork manages to raise over $11 billion. During this time, Neumann's tech startup becomes one of the most valuable companies in the world, peaking at a $47 billion valuation. That's billions with a B. But Neumann has a problem. WeWork achieves all this while losing billions of dollars every year. So, in order to justify the disconnect between valuation and revenue, he needs to redefine reality. First, in 2018, WeWork is rebranded as a global consciousness-elevating platform called the We Company. In the process, Neumann pockets $5.9 million in stock for selling the We trademark to his own company. The new name gives him cover to chase everything from private schools and communal housing to financial services and wellness fads. If it existed, the We Company would probably slap the We brand on it, sell it, and call it a revolution. But this was just the beginning. WeWork has billions in yearly expenses with no chance of turning a profit. So they need to redefine profitability by ignoring actual expenses like marketing, building upkeep, and even employee compensation under the vague idea that these costs didn't really reflect the company's potential. They call this new valuation model community-adjusted EBITDA and instantly became a meme, with financial circles mocking this newly proposed financial model as unicorn tiers profit. At the center of WeWork's meteoric rise is Masayoshi Son, the CEO of SoftBank. After launching the $100 billion Vision Fund, Son was looking to invest in bold ideas with crazy founders. In Adam Neumann, he found both. Son gave Neumann a 12-minute meeting in 2017 and walked away so impressed that SoftBank invested $4.4 billion shortly after. In the next 2 years, this investment will grow to over $10 billion, with Son encouraging Neumann to go bigger, faster, and wilder. Son even compared Neumann to a wave he wanted to surf, dreaming of a $100 billion valuation, while Neumann dreamed of WeWork colonizing Mars. Funny enough, Neumann actually had a real obsession for surfing. He often spoke about surfing as a spiritual practice and even installed a wave pool at his home. By 2019, WeWork operated 528 locations across 111 cities in 29 countries, with offices placed in unexpected places ranging from a historic colonial building in Shanghai to a former bank in London's Shoreditch. These locations were often chosen as marketing stunts to hype the brand's cool factor. These quirky spaces, paired with free beer taps and Neumann's summer camp parties featuring A-list performers, masked a grim reality. WeWork was burning billions, with Son's cash fueling a runaway train of ambition and madness. WeWork's annual summer camp retreats were more than just parties. Employees were pressured to attend these multi-day festivals, which featured yoga and costume parties. Neumann and his wife Rebecca would give impassioned speeches, fostering a sense of belonging, but also demanding loyalty. Some employees described it as feeling like a cult, with heavy drinking and peer pressure to participate. Then, in 2019, WeWork files for an IPO, aiming to dazzle Wall Street just like they did with Masayoshi. But the world was already paying closer attention, and the signs of trouble were by then clear. During a 2018 meeting with bankers to prepare for the IPO, Adam Neumann offered tequila shots and cranked loud music, turning a serious financial discussion into a frat house party. The bankers, expecting spreadsheets and serious business plans, left rattled, questioning his leadership. When the S1 filing dropped, the full disaster unfolded. Investors and analysts finally saw WeWork's numbers, and they were dire. In 2018, WeWork lost $1.9 billion on $1.8 billion in revenue, burning more money than it earned. Its liabilities included $47 billion in long-term lease obligations, locking the company into decades of rent for offices worldwide. Neumann sold $700 million in stock while WeWork struggled, and he pocketed $5.9 million by selling the trademarked word "we" back to his own company. He also borrowed $500 million, partly using WeWork stock as collateral, to fund a lavish lifestyle that included a $60 million private jet. His wife, the chief brand officer behind WeGrow Schools, was named in the S1 as a key figure in choosing Neumann's successor if he died. This was a rather bizarre detail for a public company. Worst of all, the filing confirmed WeWork wasn't a tech company with innovative software or scalability. It was a real estate business, leasing offices and offering free beer to seem cutting edge. So investors bailed, the IPO was cancelled, and Neumann was pushed out. A $47 billion valuation collapsed in a day. SoftBank, WeWork's largest investor, now stuck with billions invested and no exit in sight, took over control of the company. But in order to do so, they had to negotiate Neumann's exit package, and Adam wasn't going to leave without a fight. When the dust settled, he received $200 million in cash, $245 million in stock, and $432 million in refinanced debt. This was his reward for building a company with no chance of profits in sight, which was then forced to lay off thousands of employees, cancel expansion plans, and radically restructure in order to stay alive. In 2021, WeWork finally went public at a valuation of $9 billion, and by 2023, it was worth less than $500 million. 1 year later, they officially filed for bankruptcy. This story is not just a WeWork problem. It is part of a broader pattern where VCs were throwing billions at anything sold as disruptive, while ignoring all the red flags from a CEO who was talking about becoming the first trillionaire and was considering running for president of the world. But the good news is that the world learned its lesson. VC's money is not flying around to back all the crazy ideas anymore, and Neumann fell into disgrace and disappeared forever. Well, not really. In 2022, just 3 years after torching $40 billion in value, Neumann came back with another startup called Flow, aimed to revolutionize residential living. The pitch involves renting apartments with vague ideas about community, lifestyle, and, of course, elevated consciousness. This was enough for the biggest, loudest VC firm in Silicon Valley to give Neumann $350 million in the largest individual check they had ever written. This might be a surprising move, but nothing changed in Silicon Valley. Having a story and a track record is what matters, even if that track record is built by driving a company into the ground. So the WeWork story isn't over. It just changed names, and it's probably already fundraising. If you liked this video, you should watch one of these ones next. Until next time, thank you for watching.